Well, happy Wednesday. This is our second to last class here. Monday, I plan on being here just to answer questions. I've got nothing new to talk about. So if you got stuck on anything, want some help, want some pointers, great. Harass your group members, make sure they come, or at least they're working. Again, you get it done by then, great. That was my goal for you, so you can get it knocked out of the way. Sounds like some people have lots of other projects due and maybe a later finals week. So cool. Whatever you got to do, as long as you're done by the 27th at 11:30 a.m. We're good. We'll probably be in this room. I've gotten moved once. Okay, like I don't know how they or why they schedule it, but they don't usually put the room schedule out until like a day or two before finals start. So I'll keep an eye on that, and I'll put something in Canvas if they change our room. If not, just plan to be here. 11:30 start with what are we at? I think 15 groups. If each group takes 5 minutes or so to demo, it goes pretty quick. We should be out of here in an hour and a half or so. Um, all you're going to do, get up, run it, show us it does what it's supposed to do. Maybe give us some highlights, like, hey, this was the library, this was what was cool about it. You don't need a Please don't do a slide deck unless you really want to. Me and PowerPoint don't get along very well. And we might have a question or two. I will open it up to the floor. If anyone's like, oh, hey, you show me this particular part because that sounds interesting, cool. So be prepared to answer a brief question or two. You don't need to run through your entire code. That should do take you more than 5 minutes, and we don't want that. So demo, answer a question or two, quick highlight, what you thought was cool, and we'll get you out of here. So I think that I did get the rubric out there for you guys for this one, right? So your evals, oh, did I not? Oh, okay. I put it in here and then put it in. Why? Okay. I don't know what Eric did. So your evals, everybody commit one. Again, be talking with your team. Nothing should be a surprise here. Average is perfectly okay, right? That's a fair, good assessment of your team members. If they're better, great. They can be better. One or two pours, again, I'm not going to take points off for that. That's okay, and that's the opportunity to know where you can improve. Hey, you did really good work, but you sucked at talking to me about it, right? Or you did really good work, but you waited to the very last minute. That's okay. So those are places we can look to possibly improve as we continue on with group work. Is that a question? Cool. Okay. We can arrange another time to present then, or if your group is okay with you not being here, yeah, yeah. As long as they're like they don't feel like they're ditching you. So if they're super upset, we can schedule with your group another time. Most people are pretty chill. Yeah, yeah. They try not to get those overlaps, but sometimes it happens. Yeah, so eval is great. Your regular commits, again, we were looking for about 10 from the group. At this point, I'm going to tell you, hey, if you can get at least seven, I'm going to be happy. Um, I know things come up, but the goal is to spread it out here. So um, if you're close and you're like, oh, hey, there's like barely anything left to do, you don't need to spread that out over 3 more days. It's okay. You can just finish it as we're working ahead. But if I ask for 10, I can be okay with seven. If I ask for seven, and then people are like, "Oh, how about five?" I'm like, come on, there's three of you. So, 10 points for the log and the README. So, what did you do? How much time did you spend? This is just you're tracking it here. Again, the goal was it be some 50 to 100 hours between the three of you. It's not the end of the world if it didn't work out that way. Like you don't have to lie here. Like I'm not going to mark you down because you guys only put in 40 hours total. That's okay, right? This was just kind of how we're sizing the project here. Some things go a lot faster than you expected. Some things go a lot slower, right? That's sort of the fun of software. Um, and we always make fun of estimating how long things take. So that's you probably have gotten some of that with your software engineering processes and things. So and then what specifically did you do? What part did you work on? Right. This is just tracking here. We don't use any sort of fancy tools. If you wanted to keep some sort of log, and I think someone said they had a Kanban board or something cool. Like that's another fun way to track it. I don't know if you know any of the other tools. I don't want to show you all those other funny tools and things, and just put it in Git a little bit more obnoxious to have to write it in your README file, but again, it's not the end of the world. And then just 10 points for actually doing what you set out to do, right? If you got 90% of what you set out to do here, you get 9 out of 10 points here, right? So some people had some really cool sounding big projects. I was like, okay, if you want to try it, go for it. It doesn't sound like it's too much, but if it ends up being too much and you get 90% there, 80% there, you still get 38 out of 40 points on this project. It's barely a hit. It's still an easy A. We'll get the rest of your scores in later today. I just got to go through your self-assessments for the projects, so you'll know where you are. So don't stress like, hey, you have to get every single detail, every single possible functionality thing done. If it's not 100%, I'm okay with that, right? You got 90% of it there. That's still good enough. This is a class project. This was a chance for us to explore some libraries here, play with something, learn something fun. So don't beat yourself up if you're not 100% there, right? That's hopefully why you're seeing there's not a lot of points for that functionality. It's we're tracking what we did, we're working together, we're talking with our group, and we're just trying stuff out, having some fun. And that's what I really like about these language elective classes here. I do the Java one, I do the Python one. I used to do C Sharp, but that's okay. So we get a chance to play with things, which is really cool. So that's sort of the goal with that one. And again, I'll get the scores in so you know where you're sitting. Come Monday, I'll have them in all for sure. That next Monday class, we're not going to talk about anything. I'll make sure all the other scores are in for you, so you know where you're sitting. And then you can just, hey, I only need an A for the class. That's okay, right? It's not the end of the world. You don't have to have an A plus, right? You can lose a couple points. It's okay. Make sense? All right, sweet. So what I wanted to show you was Jupyter Notebook here. This is not exactly a Python library, my apologies, but this is a popular way of using and sharing Python in a notebook style, right? And what that really means is it's mixing and matching some narrative along with runnable code snippets. There's the classic notebook interface. I'm much more familiar with this one because we've had this one for years here. And then there's the new Jupyter Labs next generation. Really cool stuff here. I haven't played much with it, but you can try it right in the browser here if this is something you're interested in. This is another great way of sharing code or making it, hey, here's some snippets, here's some information about what's happening. Um, so we can see there's a couple fun ones here. So the Jupyter Notebooks website here, you can use other sorts of different languages as well. Python just has to be a popular one as we go. So we'll go Jupyter Notebooks, and we can take a look at the lab later. But they make these IPYNB, something I Python notebook, interactive Python notebook. I'm guessing that's probably what it is, but that's okay. So what you get then is this is the notebook web app essentially. So you can install this locally as well, and you can do this locally on your computer and have your own browser-based piece you're working on. So you're not don't have to rely on their stuff that's hosted, and then you'll be able to download it, run it, and play with it. And then if everybody has Jupyter notebooks installed, then they can just open up their interactive Python notebook file and play with it as well. But again, a lot of text here, and this is sort of like a markdown format for your text as you're putting stuff in, and then you can get actual code snippets here. And then right in your code snippets, you can go and run this particular chunk of code right in the browser. And I want to run this cell, right? Every chunk here is just a cell, and then you can get some output. So this is just looks like a random scatter plot here. And then it will show that result. We can put that result right in here. So if we want to run this little snippet here, come on, show. There it goes. So that's the scatter plot. So every time I run it, I'm going to get a different scatter plot. Notice it's just randomly generated. So interactive, runnable from the browser code here, which is a really fun way to demonstrate lots of small ideas here. Right? It's not necessarily a full-on interactive application, but here's a little snippet. So you'll see a lot of these things when we get into some of the more machine learning techniques for, oh, hey, here's when you do this particular regression analysis, you do this bit here, and here's your output. Oh, you want to do a different kind of analysis? Here's some code, do it over here. Right. So a way to demo some of that information. So lots of interactive files. There's a fun one. Oh, what was it called? I had the link and I'm forgetting. Yeah, more interactive demos. Try Jupyter.org. I think they had some other ones here. Is it Jupyter Labs? Okay, yeah. Here's some other demos for us here. The Lorenz one. So running this bit of code sets up all the libraries. Okay, so in this interactive version, once this has been run, right, we don't need to repeat it in the rest of our steps here. So it's kind of cool. Run this one as we go here. Now we'll actually go and run this one. Honestly, I don't recall differential equations. It's been quite a while. This probably means something here. Uh, we can go run our set here, and now we get something. This is cool looking, I'm assuming. uh, and then we can slide these things around, and you can see what happens interactively here. That's pretty fun. Like now we get some interactive sliders. It's regraphing on the fly here. So you can imagine this is kind of a fun way to play with some visualizations and things and be able to share that. Hey, here's some analysis that we do here. Um, or make our histograms. Run, run, run. Oh, I didn't start here. Sorry. Gotta save it. Um, you can run all. That's usually not as fun though to run all. I don't know. It's probably easier than clicking all the buttons, but it's kind of fun to see it run one cell at a time. Here, there's a little histogram. So there's our average here. So it takes you through. Um, Great way to store some information, share some information here. Which was it? It was it JP Morgan? I think it was JP. Yep. Okay. So JP Morgan put out their training that they did for numerical computation data visualization here for technologists and traders. It was kind of cool. And they put this out. This one's a little bit old now. I think it has been updated, yeah, in 3 years. But they put this out in a notebook style format here, which was super cool to see. This one now, right, is not interactive on the website. We have to go and download it, pull it down, and open up in our Jupyter notebooks. But you can see people do actually use this, and this is a common format. So if we just look through some of the notebooks, actually, I think I had it. I don't know if I've cloned this one in a while. Had it last year. I think I played with it. Python training. And then let's try it. Let me install Jupyter Notebooks. I thought I had it. I think I lost it in this one here. Oh, okay. Right with pip. Oh, it's the lab. On this one. All right, so we'll try. I think I had it at one point. Let's see. So this isn't installing it to a virtual environment. I was feeling lazy, right? And it's a relatively well-known, popular library. I don't think there's going to be any issues here installing it to my main Python install with pip. If again you want to follow our best practices, put that in a virtual environment. It won't muck with anything else, but this one should probably be okay. Get there. And show this one in Explorer for Python training. And I want open this folder in terminal. Oh, my profile overwrote it. That's lame. So I'm in the notebook folder here. As soon as that's done installing, it should be good to run it. Sorry, so this is all the other packages that are supporting the Jupyter install, right? It was a little silly to say this is probably fine because I don't know what any of these packages are, but yeah, all right, cool. Let's see if we can run and Jupyter Note. Ooh, the Mandelbrot plots Python file. That one should be fun. And so it's running like a little local web server here that I'm hitting for Jupyter, right? So this is hosting that web app here. Should finish loading. There we go. And it's pulled up the folder that I launched it in, right? So because I started it inside of my current working path, right, was the notebooks folder. That's what it's exploring right now. So that just saves me time of having to pick through all my other folders here and have to go find it inside the web browser. If you don't like doing it in the console, it's okay. I spend a lot of time in console. I'm familiar with it. It's fine. If you don't know any of the change directory commands, it's okay. Not the end of the world. But we go back like, oh, hey, let's look at the flights notebook here. So run a little example here. It goes and gets some data. So this is the pandas CSV reader. We didn't even use the Python. Oh, it didn't. Oh, because we didn't have pandas. Shoot. Um, Probably should have started a little sooner then. I think they had you take it through it in the other one. So let's go back. We just want to close the notebook and go back. Oh, I have it here. Okay. We have this one. Nope, that's basics. I thought they had the list of the libraries in here for us to use. Uh, Launch a YouTube video? That's fun. Like, we can put YouTube embeds right in here. Um, PyTest, Hotlibs. Here's NumPy. Okay, yeah, here's the import for. That one's not even pandas, right? Let's see if all that runs. We're getting our Mandelbrots. It's running the tests. Oh, all right. Well, we crashed one here on the assert. The incorrect test, so it failed. Right? It ran a test and it failed. That looks like what it was supposed to do with an incorrect test here. On our tests, local modules, packages. All right, they don't have it. I'm sorry. It's so if we had installed the package, it would have worked better. But again, you can see the whole idea with these notebooks. Great way to share and sort of add some narrative to what's happening here. Um, doesn't need to be code comments. We're putting it right in the school notebook form, and then someone can go run it. And you can actually tweak any of the stuff as you go as well, right? As this is open, you can go change any of this code in here. It's all interactive here. We can say, hey, I want 20 or whatever we want to do here, right? All changeable as we're going. So it's not just a fixed site there. Um, I think that's probably enough. Again, you can go play with it more. Check out the browser if this is something you're interested in playing with. It can be a useful tool to communicate and share data around. Um, it's not a full-on interactive development environment, so I do prefer PyCharm or other good IDEs for most of what I do here. But again, this is a really fun tool. It's very flexible, very easy to share and use, and it gives you a nice little environment for it as well. So, and that you can do some bits here, but it's not like there is the debugger panel, but trying to do it inside, like it just doesn't. It's not quite as nice, right? I love my tools, so I'm going to use the tools that I think are easiest to use. But you do have some options there. So, all right, that's it for Jupyter Notebooks, and I think that covers the last bit. That's the wrong one. This one here. Um, all the things we were looking at for the course. It's been a lot of fun. Get your scores in so you know where you're at here for the final project. We'll work on that today. For sure, by next Monday, I'll have it all in for you. Next Monday, I'll plan to be here probably 5 minutes late as usual. I hate mornings. I'm usually up super late. So most days, if I can help, I don't get up to like 11. So getting up to get here is bad at it. My apologies. But it's been a lot of fun. Look forward to seeing you in the future or seeing you for your senior design fair. I'll be there and checking that out. And if there's anything I can do, keep in touch. And if not, I'll see you for final project presentations. Thanks, y'all.